This lesson will be on 2-5, solving equations with variables on both sides. In order to solve an equation, you'll first have to do the distributive property. Then, you want to clear all your fractions or decimals. Third, you'll combine your like terms. 4, you move your variables to one side. 5, you want to move your numbers to the opposite side. And 6, you'll solve your one-step equation and find your answer. In example 1, we're given negative 2 plus 10p equals 8p minus 1. Normally, we start by doing the distributive property. However, we do not have any fractions, so we can skip that step. Second, we would clear fractions or decimals. Again, we don't have any fractions or decimals, so we can skip that step as well. Next, we would move our variables to one side. I'm going to move my variables right here with my 10p. So in order to move this 8p, I'll be subtracting it on both sides. The 8p's cross off. Now on the left side of our equation, we'll have 10p minus 8p. Now we'll need to move our numbers to the opposite side. Because our variables are here on the left, we'll be moving this negative 2 by adding it to both sides. We'll be moving it to the right. We have 10p minus 8p, which is 2p, equals a positive 2 and a negative 1, so a positive 1. Now we can solve our one-step equation by dividing by 2. So p equals 1/2. In example 2, we'll start out by doing the distributive property. 4 times 2r is 8r. 4 times a negative 8 is a negative 32. 1/7 now times 49. So remember, we're multiplying our top numbers and we're dividing by a bottom number. So 1 times 49 is 49. 7 times 1 is 7. So really we'll have 49 over 7, which is 7r. Again, we'll have 70 on the top and a 7 on the bottom here. So 1/7 times 70 is really 70 divided by 7, or 10. Now we would combine our, after doing the distributive property, we would clear fractions. Then we would combine like terms. That would mean on both sides. There's nothing to combine there, and there's nothing to combine there. So we'll move our variables to one side. I'm going to move this 7r to the left side. The 7r's cross off. We have 8r minus 7r, which is 1r. Now we're going to move our numbers to the right side. We have 10 plus 32, which equals 42. So r equals 42, or 1r equals 42. In example 3, we'll start out by using the distributive property. So we have 2m plus 5 equals 5m. 5 times negative 7 gives us a negative 35. And then we have minus 3m. Now we'll combine our like terms. There's nothing to combine right here. However, on our right side, we can combine this 5m with this minus 3m. So our new equation becomes 2m plus 5 equals 2m minus 35. Our next step would be to move our variables to one side. I'm going to move this 2m right here to the left side. In order to do that, I'll be subtracting 2m on both sides. However, if you notice, the 2m's cross off on both sides, which means that we've crossed off all of our variables and we have 5 equal to a negative 35. When all of your variables cross off, this is a special case. If, in your special case, you have an equation or a statement that does not equal each other, your answer is no solution. So 5 does not equal negative 35, so our answer is no solution. Or you can write the no solution symbol. In example 3b, let's start by doing our distributive property. Here we get 3r. Here we get 3. So 3r plus 3 minus 5 equals 3r minus 2. Now we'll combine our like terms. On the left side we have a positive 3 and a negative 5, which can be combined. So that'll give us 3r minus 2 equals 3r minus 2. Our next step would be to move our variables to one side. So I'm going to move this 3r right here on the right side to the left side, and it crosses off. When we do this, however, both 3r's cross off, and we end up with negative 2 equals negative 2. Again, all of our variables have crossed off, so we have a special case. However, in this case, negative 2 does equal negative 2. So our answer is all real numbers. What this means is that any number would work in this original equation. And the symbol for all real numbers is that right there. In example 2a, we'll start off by using our distributive property to get 8s minus 10 equals 18 minus 6s. Now, sometimes this s can look like a 5, so if your s's look like 5s, don't be afraid to change the variable from an s to an x or a y. You can use any variable that you want in any equation. Now, our next step would be to combine like terms. As you can see, there's nothing to combine on the left and nothing to combine on the right. So we'll move on to moving our variables to one side. I'm going to move this 6s over to the left side by adding it to both sides. (8s plus 6s is 14s. Now we'll move our numbers to the opposite side. So if our variables are on the left, our numbers have to be here on the right side of our equation. So this 10 right here will have to move over. We'll be adding 10 to both sides. To get 28. Now we can solve our one-step equation by dividing by 14. 14 divided by 14 crosses off, and then we're left with s equals, and just remember to reduce your fraction. If you can't do out the division, just make sure that you reduce. So 14 goes into itself once, and 14 goes into 28 twice. So we are left with 2 over 1, or 2. In example 4, we'll be solving this equation with fractions. Our first step in solving equations would be to do the distributive property. However, we don't have any parentheses, so we can skip that step. Our second step would be to clear all fractions. The way that you clear fractions is to take your entire equation and multiply by your common denominator. In this case, our common denominator is an 8. We'll be multiplying each term by 8. And remember, when doing this, we're dividing by our bottom numbers, and we're multiplying by our top numbers. So as we do this, to our first term, we'll do 8 divided by the bottom 8, which is 1, and then times this 3. So if I do that off to the side, we have 8 divided by 8 times the top number of 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. And you can do this math right here off to the side if you need to. On our second term, we have 8 divided by 4, which is 2. then times 1. So minus 2t. Next, we have 8 divided by 2, then times 1. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, times 1 is still 4. And then our last one, we have 8 divided by 4, then times 3. So 8 divided by 4 is 2, times 3 is 6. Basically, we're going through a process of reducing and then multiplying. So 8 over 1 times 3 over 4. The 8 and the 4 reduce to 2. 2 times 3 gives you that 6. Remember, this math can be done off to the side if need be. The next step in our process would be to combine like terms. However, there's nothing to combine on the left side and nothing to combine on the right side. So we can move on to the next step of moving our variables to one side. I'll move this 2t over to the right side. I always like to move my variables to the side that they'll be positive on. This helps for later chapters when we're solving inequalities. So I'll be adding 2t to both sides. Now our variables are on the right side. Let's move our numbers. Any numbers on the right side, we're going to move those over to the left side. So we'll be adding 6 to both sides. So 6 plus 3 is 9. And now we can solve our one-step equation by dividing by 6. So t equals, and remember to just reduce your fraction. 3 goes into this twice. 3 goes in here 3 times. So t equals 3 over 2.